Alright, everybody. What is up? We have a little bit of content for you today. The Week 4 prediction show. Yeah. Alright. I'm your host, Luke. I also do the streams with my co-host, Cavo. And today we're going to go through all the matches for Week 4 and what our predictions are. I have Cavo's predictions as well. So we're going to take a look at those. First, here's a look at the schedule. We have 9 matches across the 18 teams. We're going to start with the Carbon Division and make our way over to Helium. Starting left to right, top to bottom. Alright, let's go. So we've got a nice little graphic here from Lilac T. So shout out to her. And yeah, first matchup we have for the week, Momentum Esports versus Wildfire Blackhawks. We streamed Wildfire Blackhawks, I think the Sunday of this being posted. Yeah, the Sunday before this was posted. Streamed Wildfire Blackhawks against Elysium. So yeah, 2 teams that were undefeated, and Wildfire came out on top of that, so we know they're pretty good. Taking a look at the standings here, Momentum is currently sitting 2 wins, 1 loss, and 6 points. Wildfire right now, 3 wins, 0 losses, and 8 points. So on paper, that is a definitely favored towards Wildfire. Now taking a look at the tier totals, and if you don't know what a tier total is, it is just the tiers of the team, add it all up, and the lower the tier, the, I guess, higher the rank. So we're looking for the lower number here, and that would be Momentum Esports with 1 less tier than Wildfire. The average ranks of these teams are both Emerald 4, so that is even. The fantasy role rank is just what rank you are based in the division for your role. So as you can see, and then left to right, so top, mid, or top, jungle, mid, ADC, support, left to right. And looking at this, it does seem like Wildfire Blackhawks holds 3 first places for their roles. So even though top lane for Momentum Esports does have the top number 1 for that role, I gotta give it to Wildfire for that one. And then lastly, we have the strongest role. So looking at these teams, Momentum's strongest player is their jungler, and Wildfire's strongest player has got to be their ADC. So, in my opinion, I think jungle is more important than ADC when it comes to carrying games. So, oh no, never mind. I can't. Oops. No, I did give it to jungle. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Yeah, I gave it to jungle. So, yeah, Momentum's Esports jungle is their is like their carry for the team, and Wildfire's is more their ADC or mid bot side of the map. I do think in competitive leagues, and I'm gonna hold this pretty true for the rest of the predictions. But what I've seen in competitive leagues recently, especially at this level, is that better jungle wins. So when I see that the strongest person on that team is the jungle, it does make me think that jungle is probably the most important role, especially with how strong dragons are. So I do feel like a strong jungler is usually favored here. So yeah. But for our predictions, both me and Cavo agreed 2-1 for Wildfire Blackhawks. They just have a really strong team. Even if on paper they might not look like the strongest team. Having 3 members of your team who are the highest in their roles, as well as their jungler is still a strong player, and higher in fantasy points than Momentum's jungler. So I do think Wildfire probably has this one 2-1 because I'm not that confident in it. Momentum does seem like a strong team. We're just gonna have to see when this game is played. All right, next teams we got Elysium Pepocutes, I think that's how you say that, and Ember Snow Wolves, or Snow Leopards, Snow Leopards, like Ruby from Suicide Boys, Snow Leopard. Somebody will get that. One person who watches this video will get that. All right. Standings for these teams. How are they looking? 2-1 Elysium Pepocutes. That loss being to Wildfire Blackhawks on the stream match last Sunday. Gotta keep plugging the stream, guys. Ember Snow Leopards here are 1 win, 2 losses, and 4 points. So. Wow, okay. Yeah, what did I do here? Forgot to flip that. Alright, ignore that. Hold up. Alright, crisis averted. For some reason I had them like all flipped, so. And now it's facing right. This one, 25-25 in the tier total. That's both pretty strong teams in the tier department. So they're even in there. Also really high ranks for these guys. Average rank for Elysium is Emerald 1, which let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, they have 2 D4 players. Yeah, and everybody's at least Emerald 4. So they definitely do have a very high team. Average, and then yeah, also Snow Leopards, very high team rank. Lowest player is Emerald 4. But that does go to Elysium there. Now, what really matters, the fantasy role rank. Elysium definitely looking better here. Just across the board, definitely going to be the stronger team here. And then the strongest role. It's looking like support is the strongest role for Elysium, while Snow Leopards have mid. Their mid laner's their strongest player, with 3 of their MVPs. I do think their top is also pretty good, but or their jungle. I think it's their jungle is also probably pretty good. But yeah, as of now, it does look like their mid laner's their best player. And I gotta go. I feel like mid, unless your support is like higher rank than everybody else, which it doesn't look to be, unless you're like supports the shot caller of your team, then probably not gonna be stronger or like better. I would say a mid laner who can win. Yeah, maybe it doesn't even matter, because Pepocutes mid laner, it's also very good. So I think I guess having your mid as your best player is probably better. But I also think Elysium mid laner is better than the Snow Leopards mid. Yeah. So anyway, I do think it's gonna be a 2-0 for Elysium here. Cavo said 2-1 Elysium. This guy was not very confident in any 2-0s. He said most of the games are going to be 2-1, so respected his wishes. Here we got 5 Cheese Ravioli versus MSL Log Checkers. This is our last game in the Carbon division. Right now, 5 Cheese Ravioli are sitting 1, 2, and 3 points. MSL Log Checkers are 0-3 with 0 points. That's not too good, guys. Yeah, definitely giving that one to 5Gs. The Ravioli. I don't know what to call these guys. I'm gonna go with Ravioli. Tier totals are even. Both 26, which is, I think, on paper, pretty high, or pretty good for this division. Average rank, MSL Log Checkers have 1 rank above these guys, E3 to E4. Giving it to them. For the fantasy role ranks, the Ravioli's jungler is the #1 jungler in Carbon right now, which is very, very good. MSL Log Checkers across the board are the lowest in their roles for the most part, so going to go to the Raviolis. The strongest role for these guys, jungle, is the strongest role for Ravioli, and MSL's strongest player is their top laner, but it's not having the best of time right now, doesn't seem. So And I also think, you know, top lane's kind of useless. So jungle definitely helps out. Now, actually, funny, I remember I said Kavo said only 2-1s this week because he wasn't that confident in his choices. Well, he said the only one he was confident in is that MSL is taking a 2-0 loss. So we got a 2-0 there. I also agree that that's definitely a 2-0 right there. Raviolis, I really favored. Maybe MSL takes a game off of him. Who knows? I'll have to see. The Nitrogen division. Alright, there we go. Mic cut out. Whoops. Oversoul Esports Midnight versus OE Infinity was played last night. I had these predictions made before the match was played. We had our predictions before the matches were played. Promise. Alright, standings for these teams. Even. Both of them 2-1 with 6 points. So it's pretty dead even. And then tier totals though. OE Infinity definitely having a gap over Oversoul Midnight on paper here in the tiers. Average rank also kind of a huge difference. OE Infinity, although OE Infinity's support, I'm gonna air this guy's business out. OE Infinity support is like oh yeah, well, we'll see that. OE Infinity support is like a 70% win rate or something, and hit Diamond 1 after locking in, so that's definitely why the average is E2. But yeah, so Oversoul Esports does have the #1 jungler in the division right now in Nitrogen. You know, pretty solid across the board. OE Infinity also pretty solid across the board here, with their best player, or yeah, their highest ranked player being their ADC. I did give this to Oversoul though, because the difference between 4 and 3 isn't really like that big when you look at it. The biggest gap I think would be 1 and 3 right here from in the jungle, and also the 2 and the 5 in support. I think that makes a huge difference, and I think better support definitely beats the lane, makes the difference in lane. So strongest role, jungler versus ADC, always going with jungler there. ADC doesn't have that much command over the game, so both of us agreed 2-1 over Oversoul. I promise you we made this prediction before the before what we saw last night, and yeah, so 2-1 Oversoul, and that turned out to be right, so we're already 1-0. Very nice. Now we got the One You Feed versus Cossacks and Friends. All right, 2 teams that we have been around for a while. Very much some OME, no, not OME. Jeez, that's a deep cut. MSL deep heads, or old heads. That's what I'm looking for. MSL old heads. Jeez, I can't. I've been working on this for a while. My brain's shot. Standings for these teams: 2-1 with 7 points for the One You Feed, and 3-0, 8 points for Cossacks and Friends. So these old heads got some hands still. Good to see. But slightly better for Cossacks. Tier totals for these guys. Cossacks, the really old man crew, has tier total of 30. So on paper, looking not as good as the One You Feed's 27, but that is also kind of a, you know, on the lower end of tier totals. The higher end, I guess, whatever. So he's looking the One You Feed favored. Average rank for these guys: E4 for Cossacks, the One You Feed for our Plat 1 average. Don't let that fool you. These guys just don't play rank. So the rank for this one, technically, Cossacks and Friends are higher. I don't think it makes that much of a difference, though, honestly. I don't think this one matters as much for these teams, because both of them kind of just don't really play too much rank. Fantasy roles, something that really matters. Cossacks and Friends is almost first place in all of their respective roles across the division, and pretty good in the overall in the entire Cyanide league right now. So definitely looking better there. Strongest roles: Mid versus mid. Yes, this is going to be very much a mid lane matchup. Smeeb of the One You Feed is a very strong mid laner. Definitely tough for a lot of teams to take down, and also very much the carry of that team. But Cossacks and Friends mid laner is also very much their carry. And also the #1 mid laner in the Cyanide League as a whole. So, juiced. Definitely going to be interesting to see. So we're gonna have to take a look at that one after it's played. I don't know if I'm gonna do like a weekly recap. It seems like a lot, but definitely one I'm gonna be watching. But you know, I don't know. Me might be able to pull this off. I have faith in him. But also, I do think it might just be a Cossacks and Friends 2-0. Yeah, I don't know. Cossacks and Friends just looking really strong this season. The One You Feed have been around for a while, but Cossacks and Friends, yeah, I don't know. I'm going with my gut here. I haven't seen enough of Juiced. You know, I think they got a little bit of a easier schedule. So could definitely see it's me pulling one out here and popping off. But for on paper, definitely does look like a Cossacks and Friends win here. Wait, why? Okay, never mind. These things are just flipped. All right, pause. All right, I made these as fast as possible so I can get in this recording before my class at 6. It's currently 5:27, so I'm cutting it close, but we're gonna get through. We're like halfway done. Yeah, I think I want to see me pop off. I really do. This is wishful thinking, though. I think I gotta see how this Juice guy plays. Also Waldecott in the top lane on Cossacks' Friends is kind of a demon. So we'll see if Sunlit Sage can hold up against that guy. He's that might be bad for Sunlit Sage. Alright, next game, next match. Mastery 7 versus Wasted Talent Gaming. Alright. Currently standing 0 wins, 3 losses, and 0 points for Mastery 7, and 0 wins, 3 losses, 1 point for Wasted Talent Gaming. So we kind of got the garbage bowl here. No offense to these guys. It's very much some of the most fun matches, is seeing the 2 bottom teams scrap it out. So looking at this technically, that is Wasted Talent Gaming favored. Tier totals, very, very high numbers here. 30 points tier total for Mastery 7 and 31 total for Wasted Talent Gaming. So technically Mastery 7 favored, but both of those are very high. Average rank here. So yeah, I'm not the Emerald 2 average here. Not sure how Wasted Talent Gaming. Alright, that's right. Alright, it was P2, my fault. So that is Mastery 7 favored in rank, but let's take a look at the fantasy role ranks. Alright. Kind of, you know, even here, but Mastery 7's ADC is the 3rd best in the division, which I do think pushes this slightly in the favor of Mastery 7. So best in the role by far, Mastery 7's ADC, and Wasted Talent Gaming's support seems to have, he has five MVPs, which I do think says something, but gonna have to give that to Mastery 7's ADC. Our predictions 2-1 Mastery 7, both of us. That seems what it looks like. I'm just having all kinds of problems trying to do this. And it's like, I know you're definitely gonna hear cuts in like the music that's playing in the background. Whatever. My mic keeps falling out. Keep having to look at my notes. This isn't. I was hoping this would be a little bit cleaner, but first time doing this. Well, first week doing this. Whatever. Anyway. Yeah, 3-0, which means they have just 2-0'd everybody they played so far. So that's scary. That's definitely favored for Daddy Starlings. Next up, we got tiers. 25 tier total for Daddy Starlings. Does look pretty good. 27 for DA Phoenix. Gonna be Daddy Starlings favored. The average rank on these teams: Platinum 1 for DA, and E4, Emerald 4 for Daddy Starlings. Also favored for Daddy Starlings. Interesting. Looking at the roles, Daddy Starlings has 3 highest roles in the division. They're jungle, mid, and support. DA Phoenix, pretty middle of the pack here. And that is once again Daddy Starlings favored. Now the strongest role, support for DA Phoenix. It's definitely the best ranked out of all of them. Is ranked like 5th in the entire league, so I think that's interesting. I might just be completely wrong, but hold it. There's a chance that I got that wrong. Maybe not. Maybe. Yeah, it does look like I got that wrong. Whoops, never mind. Oh man, all the mistakes I'm making today. Pretty bad. Alright, but anyway, still their support has I don't know, their ADC. Well, anyway. ADC, it doesn't matter. Daddy Starlings jungle is also very good. Master Waffle. Diamond 3 jungler, terrifying. There we go. I'm predicting a 2-0 for Daddy Starlings tonight as well. Cabo is saying 2-1. So we'll have to see tonight on stream. Can't wait to see you guys there. Hope you guys show up. Alright. Next up, we got Silver Songbirds versus Goldfish Gaming. I think we streamed Goldfish Gaming already, so. Standings are currently sitting at 1 win, 2 loss, and 3 points for Silver Songbirds. 2 wins, 1 loss, 6 points for Goldfish Gaming. So that is Goldfish Gaming favored. The tier totals for these teams, 28 points, both teams. So that is even. Emerald 4 average on Silver Songbirds, Plat 1 average for Goldfish Gaming. Slightly better for Silver Songbirds. Wow. Alright, it's honestly like impressive how many things I'm getting wrong here. Looking at these, I mean, I gotta say, having 2 second place people on your team and then just the rest kind of low is weird, but when your jungler is the second best, I do think slightly favored for Goldfish Gaming. Yeah, support best role for Silver Songbirds, and jungle best role for Goldfish Gaming. And definitely gotta say Goldfish Gaming there will. Wow, 2-0. Surprised myself. Yeah, I do think it's gonna be a 2-0. Just the jungle difference in fantasy points and skill alone makes me think that Goldfish Gaming's jungler will kind of just be able to run away with this one. Yeah. Last but not least, the game we got streaming Sunday that I'm making some extra content for in preparation. Just gonna do like a deep dive into the teams to like take a look at like each of their roles and stuff, and like anyway. Don't think I'm gonna have time for that this weekend, but I will try to make a like hype video on Sunday. I'm doing interviews with the teams, so yeah, it should be some fun stuff. Let's take a look at these standings for these teams. 1 win, 2 losses, and 2 points for the Kitten Spire, and 1 win, 2 losses, 4 points for GE Nova, which is also Glacial Nova. So I don't know where the E comes from, but yeah. So slightly favored for GE Nova here in that aspect. Tier total also slightly favored GE Nova by 2 tiers. Average rank is even across the board, flat 2 for both teams. Fantasy role rank. So, taking a look at this one, 5 and 4 in these rules. When I was taking a look at the stats, there isn't that like big of a gap in those roles. I would say the biggest gap in role is the 3 there in the support and the 6 in support. That's definitely going to be favored for Kit Inspire. Better support, even though, you know, the 7 and the 5 also aren't like that far apart in terms of stats. And I do believe better jungle or better support kind of just wins the lane. So should be even in the top, you know, top jungle mid. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the bot lane looks like when we stream this one. Strongest role, support for the Kit Inspire, and it does seem like ADC is the best role for GE Nova here. But yeah, we'll. Yeah, I'm gonna say support for that. Then what are our predictions for this match? 2-1 Kit Inspire for both of us. Yeah, so I mean, me and Kavo had those same predictions this week, which I mean, it's kind of hard not to come to the same conclusions when looking at these stats. Both kind of just been around the block a lot. We've seen a lot of teams play, so we kind of know what's gonna happen. All right, so that's our last prediction for this week. Yeah, take a look at the schedule one more time. I was going to put like my predictions laid out here, and then Kava's predictions on the next slide. We're on the same slide. Couldn't figure it out what I wanted to do, and then decided that was going to take too much time, so I didn't do it. I will try to do it for future iterations of this. Hopefully once a week. I do, you know, it does kind of slow me down when all the matches aren't played, because I gotta, you know, take into account those stats too for the previous week. But I try to do my best there. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. We got more content coming on the way. If you guys have any feedback, let me know, please. If there's anything else you want to see, let me know, please. And yeah, have a good night, everybody. Hope to see you guys at the stream tonight. If you're watching this after then, hope you guys show up to the Sunday stream. If you're watching this after that for some reason, yeah, hope you stick around. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys next time.